Okay, great. Emslie, welcome. Emslie Mills, welcome to this business spotlight interview. And it's great to have you here this morning. Emslie, you run a company called Home Spa Cornwall. And please tell me in your own words about you and also what you do as a business owner and how long you've done it for.
Okay, no problem at all. So obviously I have a business called Home Spa Cornwall. Essentially, Home Spa Cornwall is a platform that connects independent self-employed massage therapists, beauty specialists. We also have a personal trainer with clients to bring them their knowledge and expertise. So covering all of Cornwall. We also go slightly over into Devon. The therapists can essentially bring a range of holistic treatments, massages, beauty treatments into the client's home. Also holiday lets are very popular, and we also into a few hotels and things like that as well. So we, having sort of lots of therapists, we are able to offer a couple of therapists for one booking. So you can have couples massages, for example, pamper parties, hen parties are quite popular. We get a lot of clients that come to Cornwall and have for their big birthdays and then have a day of pampering essentially at home. So it's essentially covering sort of lots of different treatments and lots of areas within Cornwall, really. So as well as Home Spa Cornwall, also since that started, I've have a couple of other sort of parts to the business.
Okay.
So the therapists also offer treatments within a hotel in Falmouth and also in a holiday resort in Newquay as well. So that's an option for them to offer treatments to their guests, and an option for the therapists as well. So I started Home Spa back in the end of 2015, start of 2016. So it was just myself originally. So I travelled quite far throughout Cornwall, offering all the treatments. And as it got busier, I saw an opportunity to create a platform essentially for self-employed therapists to then enable them to offer treatments to essentially a wider client base. So instead of myself just traveling from Penzance to Plymouth, for example, I was able to offer this opportunity to other self-employed therapists to then offer the treatments to other a wider client base essentially. So whilst I don't actually do the treatments myself anymore, I spend most of my time sort of growing the business. A lot of my time is coordinating. So it's a collective of self-employed therapists, essentially connecting them with clients throughout Cornwall and Devon. So that's sort of essentially what it is.
Well, I'm just really surprised you could carry on. Just talking about yourself and about the business there, and obviously I know it's a Cornish-based business, but you said that you're crossing the border into Devon as well. That's that right? Yeah.
Yeah, just about.
Just about. Are you planning to expand more into Devon, or are you looking to stay generally mainly in Cornwall?
No, absolutely. Happy. Yeah, it is something that's on our radar to go across into Devon more so, and really sort of expand, kind of work our way up really. Yeah.
Oh, great. And obviously you say start in 2015, 2016 your own, and you can do a little traveling, travel everywhere. But obviously, we had COVID, obviously in 2020. And I know we're starting to just come out of that at the moment there. But how did COVID-19 impacted your business, and what have you actually, actions that you've taken to come out of that?
Okay, so in a lot of the restrictions that were implemented for COVID-19 for sort of personal care were obviously a lot of the hygiene side of things, the hand washing, sanitizing, etc., which is something that the therapists are big on anyway. So that was something that was, although we did have to close for a time, whilst we were able to offer treatments, the therapists were doing all what they would be doing normally, but just more so. We did find that actually a big thing throughout COVID was that clients were more were happier really to have treatments at home rather than go to a spa. I think a lot of people were quite scared to go out and see mix with other people, and having somebody come to them was quite a big thing really. So we did, although obviously COVID itself was really hard on the business, that year afterwards we found that a lot of people were actually opting to have treatments at home that perhaps normally would have gone to a hotel spa, for example. We did have to change a couple of things ourselves. So normally the therapists would take all of their own towels, etc. But we had to say the clients would provide their own towels. So we sort of stopped any kind of, bringing as little as we could into the clients' homes, really. So although there were things that we had to change, a lot of the things that were big on, the therapists were doing anyway. So it's, although it would kind of, the hygiene and cleanliness is the top priority anyway. So aside from the obvious of face masks and things like that.
Know about that.
Yeah, there was no facials for a while, just sort of the face down massage and things like that. But yes, we're very, very happy to be out of that situation now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I guess what has you been, since you've been as a business owner yourself, what has been your biggest learnings so far?
Okay, so I mean, I think that I found that there's so much help out there to help business owners, especially sort of small, medium business owners in Cornwall. It's amazing once you start to sort of look for help and things, that the amount of businesses out there that then get in touch with you to offer their services. It's amazing to, for anybody that's kind of getting started, it's really, really helpful. There's so many things to be sort of tapped into that you wouldn't otherwise have known about once they started. It's been amazing. I think I find it really important to, as I'm working mostly on my own at home, I have to set a lot of goals, sort of time limits for goals and things like that, but also make sure that I set time to have away from the business. It's very easy to be answering emails and texts and things late into the evening. So I think that was something that I've learned kind of whilst working for myself as well. Kind of setting time limits and time away from business, and also time to really concentrate and knuckle down, not get distracted.
There's distractions there. It's not get distracted. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And what would you say has been, I guess as a business lead now, what's been your biggest challenge so far, and how you're navigating through that?
So I think as the business has really adapted and grown, I've found that, for example, the booking system, we've gone through, I think, 4 different booking platforms in order to get to one that really works and suits the business needs. So obviously, being a location-based business, I initially had a booking platform that clients would book, and it wouldn't necessarily get booked with a therapist that covered that area.
Right.
So that was a big challenge. So there was a lot of sort of shuffling around and trying to sort things out that end. Whereas now I've managed to sort out a booking platform that works. The therapists can put their the locations that they're happy to cover. They're very flexible with the times that they work, so they choose what hours and what days, and obviously which treatments they're able to offer as well. So as a client, when you go on, you put your postcode in initially, you choose which treatment you want, and then the only therapists that will show up are therapists that cover that area, and then that narrows down the availability of when to book. So I think having gone through lots of different types of booking platforms and challenges like that, I think it's so nice to have got to a point now where it really works, and it works for the therapist, for myself, and for the clients, which
everybody.
Although it took a while to get there, it's a really good feeling to know that it's pretty much perfect now, which is amazing. So lots of different things I've had to learn along the way. Learning all from scratch really. So having sort of started just myself, there was a lot of things that I learned that I've then had to adapt, whilst other therapists have worked self-employed with Home Spa as well. So it's sort of adapting things as we've gone along.
Yes, all about adaptability. Just keep
absolutely
adapting. And I was gonna say, I guess with that, I mean, let's say if you started your business all over again, if you just start all over again, what would you do differently?
Oh, good question. I think knowing what I know now, I probably would have pushed at the very beginning to have the perfect booking platform. That would have been a very important part. I think that it's grown very organically. A lot of the business has been word of mouth through clients, which is amazing. So my initial client base was a really great group, and they definitely helped to spread the word. I think although it's been amazing to have built it organically and fairly slowly to get to where we are now, I perhaps would have gone sort of a little more committed at the beginning with advertising and really sort of getting the business to grow maybe a little quicker. But then at the same time, I quite like that it's got to where it has the way it has. So it's a sort of a bit of a two sides to it really, I suppose. So I think although there have definitely been challenges and things that would have changed, at the same time I'm pretty happy with how it's got. And I don't think I would have 5 years ago or so would have thought, I would have been really happy to have got to where the business is now.
Come on, that's so good. And what advice would you give to, like, let's say an 18-year-old who wants to start their own business? What advice would you give to them?
I think I would say definitely look into all of the outlets that there are to give help. I think that there are so many people and businesses out there that are happy to share their expertise and to give you pointers. And I think definitely do take on people's different sort of ideas and perspectives of the business. I think also don't be too hard on yourself. There's definitely times where there'll be things that go wrong or don't go perhaps the way that you'd like them to, but don't get disheartened. I think it's especially if you're working pretty much alone, it's quite easy to sort of get quite hard on yourself, but actually it's all a learning experience. And don't give up as well. I think it's 5 years, isn't it, that a lot of businesses do get to that point and then stop, I think, to try and get through. That it's definitely worth, because it's amazing being able to have something that you've built up, and to work for yourself is obviously amazing as well. And I mean, I'd also say I did a little bit of teaching previously at Truro College, and I remember taking on doing some interviews for therapists that were looking to do the courses, and just saying, like, to do beauty and massage is such the amazing job to be in, really. There's so many different things that you can do with it. You can travel, you can work for yourself, you can work for amazing spas, like cruise ships, super yachts. So I'm really quite an advocate for saying it's a really great industry to be in as well. I think there's so much sort of within it, and so much you can do with it, really. But it's so along the same sort of quite sort of excited to talk to others about that as well.
Oh, that's great.